In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the transfer case shift motor on this BMW 328i xDrive. This happens to be at the back side of the transmission on the transfer case, only on the all-wheel drive models. Let's get into it. In the trunk, we're going to disconnect the battery over on the right side or passenger side. Take this panel off. There's a little twist knob there. Just slide that out of the way. You can see the negative terminal. We're going to disconnect that with a 10mm wrench. Slide the terminal off and out of the way. We're going to remove this shield. Use a 8mm socket. Take these screws out. There's a 10mm right there. Use a 10mm socket. Just take that nut off. That comes out. We're going to remove this shield. Same 8mm socket. And right here, there's a nut. That's a 10mm. Use a 10mm socket. Take that off. Slide the shield down. Take these two bolts out. These are attached to the exhaust. We want to use a E10 socket. Take those bolts out. That's loose. Remove this bracket. I'm going to use a T50 socket. Take these bolts out. Take that down. I'm just going to use a pole jack and support the exhaust. There. We're going to take the hangers off. I'm just going to use a hanger removal tool. You could just use a pry bar if you want to, but sometimes these make it easier. There we go. Just slide that off. Make sure that's off, and then we'll move on to the other two. Let's pop these off. Before removing the third exhaust mount, we're going to take this panel down just so we have more room. Use a 10mm socket. Take these bolts out. Using an 8mm socket, take these bolts out. Take that panel down. Just using a pry bar. I'm going to pry this out first. If it's easier, just use the pry bar completely. And that comes comes off. That's good. Now we're going to take the nuts off over here. These are pretty rusty, so it's going to take us a little bit to get these off, but you should be able to use a 13mm socket and take these 4 nuts off. Take those off. Go. Now remove the pull jack, make sure you have an assistant, and then just pull the exhaust down. It's not coming out. Just gonna pull it back. There we go. Pull it down and put it down on the ground. Remove this shield, use an 8mm socket. Take these screws out. There's a nut right there. Use a 10mm socket. Take that off. It should slide off like that. There's one more bolt right there. Take that off. Take that down. Disconnect the connector right here. I'm just going to use a pick, get under the little tab, pull the connector out. Disconnect this connector, just push down on that tab, slide that out. Using a E6 socket, we're going to take this bolt out. Just loosen that up. Just hold on to that sensor so it doesn't fall. Take that out. Take these 3 bolts out. Use an E10 socket. Those bolts out, grab the motor, and slide it out. Make sure the O-ring's there, and you can put a little silicone on the O-ring so it slides in a little easier. Get that lined up. Get the bolts in. Don't force it. Just make sure it's pushed in all the way. And we're going to torque those bolts to 16 foot-pounds. Go around again, double check. It's good. Take this little sensor, get that started. Now torque that little bolt to 43 inch-pounds. That's good. And connect the connectors, lock that in place, slide that one in, lock that one down. Take the shield, slide it in position, go over the studs, get the screws and nuts started. So here and right there. I'll tighten those down. I'm going to install the exhaust, get it lined up. It's a good idea to replace the exhaust seals as well. We're just going to reuse ours. They're metal. Get those lined up. Push that on. Come down a little bit. All right, now we can go up again. And we'll just put a pull jack right there. Get one of the exhaust hangers started. Just get that started. And get these hangers on. Use some large pliers to help you push them on. There you go. There you go. Lock those in place. There we go. That's good. And put this cover on. Get the bolt started. Smaller bolts. Tighten those down. And we're going to put this washer plate right there. And I'm going to use some new nuts. Get those started. Now we'll tighten those down. All right, those are all tight. Perfect. I'll put these bolts in for the bracket. Tighten those down. And lower the support for the exhaust. Slide this bracket in place. Snug down the bolts. Take this shield, slide it in place, take the plastic nut and put that on the stud. Put this bolt through here. Get that started. But you don't want to put a bolt through there yet because we're going to put the other shield up. Slide this shield like this. Now you can put the bolt through there. Get the other bolt started. Plastic nut, it's going to go right there. I'll tighten these all down. And the nuts. Connect the battery, the negative terminal, we'll tighten that down. Snug that down, give it a wiggle, make sure it's tight. It's good. Take the cover, line it up, lock it down.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.